So hi, I'm here with Stefano Bettani, who you've all got to know as the person who's been pretending to be an ISS student, going around talking to all the faculty about the ISS degree. And I have to thank you, Stefano, because this was your idea that someone should put themselves in the shoes of an incoming ISS student and really find out what the degree is all about. And it was such a great idea. And then not only that, a double thanks, because then you put all this energy into interviewing all the faculty, and you did it so well. Like, you put everybody at ease and you put some real energy into the interviews. You made it seem very real. So
you're gonna make me blush.
So thank you very much. So I thought it would be useful at the end of the course to give everybody who's taking this Intro 301 class a sense of where you are actually situated as a real student at UW, not acting the role of an incoming ISS student, but tell us a little bit more about what you're doing at UW.
Yeah, my story. So first of all, a little parenthesis. The idea, it was actually something that we came up together. So it's me and also like my fellow adventurer, Ryan Adams. I know that you're gonna talk with him later, but
yes.
He was like played a major role in it. So just a little parenthesis. And again, thank you again for everything that you said. So I'm actually in the geography department here at the UW, and I like to think about my experience here at the UW as kind of a path, like in a long adventure that I've been living, and academia has been actually a very long adventure for me. I started almost 10 years ago, my God. Oh my God, 10 years.
Yeah.
Back in Italy. I come from Italy, from this small village in between Milan and Venice. Horrible place. Just, oh my God.
It doesn't sound horrible at all.
And so as soon as I could, because Italy is beautiful, but it's very, it could be very, very close environment.
Yeah.
So at some point you feel like you need to open up to the universe and open up like to different kind of things, experience something else. So as soon as I could, I ran away from my...
You went to London, right?
Yeah, but before London, I studied in Milan.
Ah.
So I lived alone in Milan for 3 or 4 years. And after that, I studied geography. And the reason why I chose geography, that's interesting, because I think that in some ways connected to this degree, because I was 17, 18, and I was like the embodiment of doubts. I doubt, yeah. I didn't know what to do. I came from a kind of a traumatic experience because the high school that I did was very focused on sciences. So a lot of maths, a lot of physics. And I really wanted to run away from it. So I was like, I need to find a degree that really allows me to do a lot of what I understood later being social sciences, and open up my mind, and sort of allows me to take a break from science. And I couldn't find one. And then at some point in the Department of Philosophy, because in Italy the geography was in the Department of Philosophy and Literature.
I see.
I found like this niche, which was geography, and I didn't know what to expect, but I was happily surprised. I had the chance to take classes in sociology, anthropology, human geography, and
so a little bit like integrated social science.
Yeah, it was just that. I even did like literature, Scandinavian literature, social psychology.
Wow.
It was quite an amazing experience, and so after I'd done that, I wanted to move beyond Italy. And I tried to move to Barcelona, but that didn't quite work. And then I wanted to go to Paris because I studied French at the university. But at the same time, that didn't quite work. And so talking with my supervisors and my friends, they were saying, you know what, you should really learn English if you want to, become a global citizen. And so I moved to London.
And you thought you'd learn English in London?
That was actually another funny...
If you speak English with my kind of accent, nobody can understand you.
And it was actually quite an interesting experience, because it was such an explosion of cultures, of dialects and of accents, as you say. I wasn't expecting it. It was pretty overwhelming. And I went there that I couldn't even speak in English. And
then what about the next step? Like, you ended up doing an BA and an MA.
No, it was actually, I did my BA in Italy, I did another BA in London.
Another
so two
BA.
BAs. Second
and then
BA.
you came to us.
And then I came to you, and again, geography sort of never disappointed me, so it always kept my doors open. And yeah, so I basically came here to carry on my mind-opening experience and adventure. And
well, you've certainly added a new adventure. With
and again, I mean, I'm happy that I met you and that I had the chance to work with ISS because...
Well, let me interrupt you and ask a little bit more about your impressions of doing all these interviews with our faculty, because now you've interviewed 24, 25 of the faculty already, and at this point you have an impression of what they bring as professors to the degree. What are the things that have really stood out to you about what the faculty are bringing to the degree?
Well, a few things. First of all, I was really surprised by how committed these people are to the project. If you think about academia and what I know about academia, it's so difficult to get people getting all around the same table. It's just such a mess. And so seeing them all working and all agreeing that this is an important project was quite breathtaking. I was very, very impressed. And also was the fact that these people are really not beginners. I'm just like people that are been in academia for ages, and but this is almost a bet that they're making. They're really thinking about who they are as professors, as thinkers, as academics. And that's something that is, it's pretty rare. I don't know, usually people when they sit and they feel comfortable, they don't want to stand up and start walking again. And I was like, these people decided to stand up and start running instead of walking.
Yeah, so it is a new step for a lot of us as faculty. We may teach a lot on campus, but it is a new step to trying to make...
different variables, different challenges. It's just so interesting.
Trying to make it work online is different. And you put yourself in the shoes of one of our students, and now having worn those shoes, as it were, for quite a while, for all those interviews, are there any things that you think that they need to watch out for in terms of preparation or sort of preparing themselves mentally for...
I actually think that for a student to come in and get the most out of this experience, so one thing that a student would have to do would be to step out from the idea of academia and the idea of being a student that has homework and has to have an exam and produce, and sort of try to have kind of a meta experience, so experiencing this whole degree as a way to understand the language of academia, understand how to, so kind of learning how to learn, and which is, to be honest, it's what took me 10 years to understand also, like in my academic journey, because after trying so hard to be the good student, you get to a point in which you really understand that academia is really about integration. It's really about understanding and learning new languages, because subjects are really languages, are new ways to, lenses through which you see things. So what you really get out of a degree like this, and out of the integration of different subjects, goes way beyond the need to find a job or the need to upgrade your CV. It really becomes, you really earn a set of tools through which you can decode reality, and through which you can really learn how to be a better person, more aware and more able to
be a citizen.
And if you think about it, what I really believe is that even when you look for a job, even when you think very practically about, making a living, being a person that is very aware and very, empowered,
well, I actually think
makes a difference.
I think that's what employers are looking for too.
Exactly.
So I think some of those learning how to learn skills are actually really key for the job market, right? Don't you think that?
No, they really are.
What employers are looking for.
They really are, and the thing is that even if you learn something very practical, if you're a mathematician, an engineer, no matter what, when you start a job, you're always a beginner and you always have to learn. So learning that you can learn. Learning that you are an empowered person is the key, no matter how practical your thing that you're learning is. So having the possibility to go through a completion degree that opens your mind and really empowers you and really makes you understand that you can learn maths, you can learn statistics, you can learn philosophy, and just follow your passion. I think it's one of the most precious things that a person can have, and it's very rare. I mean, we don't often have the chance to just sit back and just realize that we are surrounded by richness, and again, learning how to learn is just
well, you've really helped in doing all these interviews, help our students see what a wide and I hope rich set of offerings this degree has.
I hope so.
Yeah, you really allowed the faculty to explain what they do in a very meaningful way, and so that's a precious thing too.
Yeah, I'm happy, and good luck to the students, because again, it's going to be an adventure for them.
yeah, it's an adventure for all of us, I think.
Yeah.
And the collaborative spirit that you've brought is, I think, one that we need to all cultivate and continue to use. So thanks a lot, Stefano.
You're so welcome.
Right.